What's going on, guys? Afflicted Gamer here, back in another Division video. So, it is Friday. This is the weekly reset. The last 2 weeks have been great. Thank you guys for the support. So what I'm going to do is go from safe house to safe house. I will only pick out the best items at each one, or anything that I think, at least for somebody else, would be great, you know? And right off the bat, we've got a lightweight M4 blueprint. Finally, thank you, Massive. I'm going to get this for sure. We also have a surplus SVD blueprint, firearms backpack if anybody needs one, stamina vest, small grip with crit damage as the main stat, power level 34, heavy magazine spring, and a electronics gear mod. Right on, lightweight M4. That is a great way to start this week off. Awesome. All right. Over at the special equipment vendor, the Liberator at 18.1k base damage has responsive, prepared, and adept. Not too bad, actually. The Pecan this week has capable and meticulous. Not too bad either. Cassidy has swift, ferocious, and boomstick. Obviously, if anybody's interested in that. Centurion, expert and competent. That's not too bad. The Historian, 158% headshot damage, 40.9 base K damage, competent, determined, and history repeats. Not that great. Skill build, maybe you could use this. Other than that, no. Let's take a look at this MP7. Competent and skilled. Oh, come on. Alright, well, the rest of the gear, I'll just scroll over it real quick since we are here. Lightweight M4, awesome. We finally got that that blueprint. Really happy about that. Pretty good Sentry's Call knee pads. Pairing the Sentry with the SVD is pretty lethal. Sorry, the Urban MDR. Banshee, that's it. Firearms one with skill haste if you so choose to. Extended mag, reload speed, rate of fire. I would pass. Yep, and that's about it.
I'm sure I'll see you again.
Okay, you know what? And I'm just going to run upstairs. There's no point in me cutting this out. There's 3 areas here, so we might as well just cover all of them all at once.
Over there.
Special equipment vendor has a Rhino special with expert and proficient on it. Tactical AUG, not too bad. Scar L, no. Double barreled Model 700 carbon, sustained and elevated, nothing too great. Extended mag, reload speed and rate of fire again. It's not terrible, but I would rather crit chance or crit damage with the rate of fire. We do have a good suppressor right here with crit hit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. I'm actually going to grab a few of those. Vertical grip and iron sights. Nothing too special there. Let's head over to the base, and then I will make my way from safe house to safe house on top of the DZ checkpoints, and thereon they will just be the best of what's there. MP5, determined, predatory, dominant, nothing too special. Quick release mag, nope. Gear vendor, cunning gloves, nope. And an electronics mod with crit hit chance.
Too bad nothing caught your eye.
Alright, well, at least we got the lightweight M4 so far. Okay, over at Camp Hudson, I know a lot of people are rocking shotguns. There is a black market SASG 12S, 99.4k base damage, 316 stagger. Your damage may differ from mine depending on what you have rolled on your gloves. Swift, vicious, and brutal. This is actually pretty decently rolled. You could reroll off Swift if you want to for something else like Destructive, but reloading a shotgun faster is not a bad choice. Also, an extended magazine here, just in case. Magazine size, reload speed, and rate of fire.
No worries.
I'm actually going to pop over to the gear vendor just in case, but the shotgun is pretty good. Alright, we've got a rehabilitated mask with all resistance, kill XP, nothing special there, and we've got a firearms mod which is super low, and that is garbage. Alright, moving on. Okay, at Kerman Station, for those of you that like LMGs, there's a custom L86A2 17.5k base damage, self-preserve, swift, and brutal. Those of you that kind of like to spec into solo play, swift and self-preserve, brutal, not too bad, and a high velocity mag with crit hit chance, magazine size, and crit hit damage. I know a few players do like that sort of thing, so I did not want to leave it out. Okay guys, at Dante's run, what we have here is a steadfast holster. It's not the greatest, but not the worst. I know a lot of people are using steadfast, nimble, things like that for all high-end builds. This is here. You could choose to roll off crit chance if you want. And the other thing is a 5.5% first aid self-heal performance mod. So if you missed last week where they had a 6% in the dark zone, at least 5.5% is here for now. So again, that's at Dante's run. So at Wolves Den, it looks like we are still getting some gifts from Massive. They're listening. There's a Lavois C with Fierce, Unforgiving, and Destructive on it. 18.8k base damage, 22% enemy armor damage. You know what? This is actually pretty decent. I'm going to go ahead and scoop one of those up myself. There is a rugged mini reflex sight. It's got crit chance, crit damage, but stability. You would want headshot damage in that slot, but if you're absolutely desperate, at least there's that here. Alright, on to the next place. At the Autumn's Hope safe house, there is a sturdy holster. Well, again, a lot of people are running high-end builds, so sturdy is not a bad option. Increase armor by 15% when staying in cover for 4 seconds in the same cover. So, you know what? I actually have used this myself. These are pretty good. So, for anybody new to the division, this is not a bad holster at all. There's also a prototype electronics mod with skill power on it. Anybody specking into a skill power build, there's this. The electronics roll is a little bit low. Same thing with the skill power, but if you don't have the blueprint to craft one, this one is here as well.
Too bad nothing caught your eye.
In the dark zone at West 53rd Street, just a couple things that may catch your eye. There is a converted SMG9. For those of you that like to run skill builds, Predatory, Adept, and Deadly are on this. Nothing too special, but the Operator Mask, Rehabilitated, is pretty good. Nice stamina roll. It's also got 8% enemy armor damage, and the minor attribute for blind death resistance. You could reroll that off if you want to. And there is a better prototype electronics mod here, 251. It's kind of middle tier, but health just over 3,000, which is not too bad at all. So, if you want to, those are at East 53rd Street. Or West 53rd Street. My apologies. At the West 39th Street checkpoint, if you are in absolute dire need of Savage Gloves, these are not the greatest at all. SMG damage, crit chance, and skill haste being one of the new attributes. Very, very low firearms roll, but just in case anybody is absolutely desperate for Savage Gloves, they're here. And a prototype performance mod of 7% turret health for those of you that are running Firecrest. So I just figured I would show you guys.
I've got plenty other clients.
Good for you. Moving on.
Not buying from me.
Alright, at the West 34th Street checkpoint, there is another black market SASG 12 with 347% stagger. That's a pretty decent amount, 103k base damage. Unforgiving, Swift, and Accurate are on this. If you wanted to reroll either Swift or Accurate, you could for something like Brutal or Destructive. Figured I would show that to you guys, and since I'm here, there's also another Rejuvenated Mask with skill power, low firearms roll, but for those of you that are running skill builds, that is here. You could just reroll that off. And anybody running defense, there is a 7.5% ballistic shield health performance mod here. So prototype performance mod. Figured I would show you guys that as well. So not too bad. Couple of decent shotguns so far. So in the checkpoint at East 34th Street, we have a pretty decent BB-19, 16k base damage. Again, that could vary based on if you have a SMG damage on your gloves. 20% crit hit chance with Unforgiving, Accurate, and Hurried. You could reroll off Accurate for Brutal. You'd have a decent PP19. For those of you that do like Forceful, you do have one here. It's kind of middle tier, but I figured I would show you anyways. And another firearms mod with skill power, but it's on a bit of the low side. But anybody that's desperate, that's here. Again, that's at East 34th Street in the Dark Zone.
It's getting dropped.
Alright,
I still
so
don't know.
at the East 40th checkpoint,
Warning.
we've got a
You are
military
exiting the safe area.
M870, again, for those of you running shotguns with Talented, Deadly, and Swift. This is by far not the best. If you roll off Talented for something else, those of you that are still a fan of the M870, I just figured I would show it to you guys. On top of that, there's a sturdy holster, but the armor rolls are quite low. And for the Seeker Mine users, there is a 7% Seeker Mine Explosion Radius prototype performance mod here for sale.
You'll be back. I know it.
Later, you'll be back.
At the East 42nd Street checkpoint, we've got a Tactical AUG A3P with 21.5% crit hit chance. So for anybody running skill builds, there is Adept, Competent, and Meticulous. Not the greatest, but not the worst rolls, especially with Competent and Adept are pretty good if you're running a skill power build. There is also a Operator Vest, Rapid, low firearms, but it has skill haste, health, and ammo capacity. Finally, a prototype stamina mod. It's middle tier again, but anybody that's looking to stack their crit, there is a 1% crit hit chance mod. I probably wouldn't pick this up since they seem to drop everywhere, but
What, you think
I
you
would
don't
show
need
you
this?
just in case. Alright, moving on to the next place. At the East 53rd Street checkpoint,
Can't find this stuff back at the
there
base.
is a refreshed mask, which is pretty decent. I would say this is good again for anyone running a skill build, or you could re-roll the electronics into another slot, but the major attribute is 3.5% crit hit chance, and the minor is 11% damage to elites. Pretty good, and on top of that, there's a prototype performance mod with 4.5% ballistic shield damage resilience. Not the highest roll, but definitely not the worst. So anybody running defense, there is that option to pick that up.
Think about buying something next time.
Again, East 53rd Street. Okay, so at the Park Ave DZ checkpoint, there is a snub-nosed rhino. Anybody that cares about these rhinos, I figured I'd show you guys that. There is an AUG A3 Para XS with Unforgiving, Hurried, and Sustained. You could reroll off Sustained if you don't like that talent. I actually find it quite useful, but that's there with 19.5% crit hit chance. Not the highest, but it's not a bad roll. 16.9k base damage. Again, may vary from yours depending on if you have SMG damage or not on your weapon. Tactical ACR with Fierce, Swift, and Commanding for skill players, skill build players. And I figured I would just kind of scroll through these things because, you know, new vendor. The Infantry MG5, Prepared, Capable, and Dominant. I would reroll Dominant for something else unless, again, you're always, if you're using your skill power quite a bit and trying to keep it up with Tac Link, then you could keep that. 14.2k base damage, 12% to damage to targets out of cover. Not the highest, but by far not
Serious
the worst.
inquiries only
Again,
next
that's
time.
at Park Ave. Alright, so for the final stop of the week, I'm at the DZ09 safe house.
stuff
Now,
that'll save
I look
your
at it this way, and I would like to know your thoughts and comments below about this. All of these safe houses sell gear. Gear drops left, right, and center. Last stand caches, survival caches, proficiency caches. You name it, you can get gear anywhere all the time. Even if there's a decent roll on something, you know what, chances are if you buy it, you're going to get another one tomorrow, like this defense chest piece. Alright, the stamina roll could be higher. Reroll off all resistance for health, and you've got a decent chest piece. So, for the most part, I left these safe houses out because, to be completely honest, this is stuff you're just going to get anywhere else in the game, versus the weapons are something that we are looking for specific talents on. Yes, we're looking for specific talents and attributes on our armor and our gear to put them together properly, and If there was something that stood out just so much, it was a must buy for whatever gear set, and I wouldn't even care if it was something like Hunter's Faith, which I would never use, but because somebody would, I would point it out. But honestly, there's really nothing else anywhere. Um, but we do have some really good stuff this week, like that lightweight M4. Those shotguns were good, some decent performance mods, so on and so forth. So you know what? If
What
you
are you
do
waiting
want me to
for?
include every single safe house in the Dark Zone, I will. But other than that, I went to every place on the map, like I said, including Camp Hudson. And what was there, I showed you guys the best of the best, depending on, it didn't matter what type of player you are, solo, skill player, attack, defense, whatever the case is. I showed you guys everything that was there. So hopefully this video was helpful and you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and drop a like, as this does take quite a bit of time to do and put together. On top of that, I hope that you will consider subscribing to the channel for more Division content like this. Still much more on the way. I will keep doing this on a week-to-week basis. You can follow me on Twitter at AfflictedGamer, and the stream times are at the end of the video that I will be doing here on YouTube from the PS4 Pro. In the meantime, guys, have a good day, good night wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Grab that lightweight M4 blueprint and whatever else you saw that you may like. And I will see you very soon in the next video.